Hey there, I'm Marvin from Buddy Up Gaming, and welcome to Drop Duchy. In this playthrough video, we're going to be playing as the Duchy faction. And before we begin, I wanted to take some time to review what you'll be seeing as the Duchy and what cards that we should enable in the progress tree. Now, the Duchy is the first faction you'll be playing when you initially start this game, and it's a great one because it is really easy to learn. It more closely aligns, I think, with the more basic mechanics of the Drop Duchy gameplay and the rounds of Tetris. That being said, the Duchy is also a fantastic faction to play later on, even after you've learned how to play all 5 factions, because while I would say that its power potential may not be quite as large as some of the other factions on our list today, or currently in this game, it still is a very RNG-proof faction, and that makes it a really great one to play. So anyways, let's go to the progress tree and look at what cards you should enable for a Duchy run. First off, right here at the bottom, because the Duchy focuses so heavily on food and wood for its upgrades, we do want to try to focus on gaining as much of those resources as early as possible, and this first card right here, Exploited Lands, is a perfect one to get for those. For that end, it gives you 20 food. At level 1, it gives you 20 food for each square that is explored when you place it down, which is quite a bit, a great deal more than the exploration gain you get from plains or fields, and it's relatively easy to upgrade. Along those lines, I would say early in the run, if you have a chance to find the windmill, this card can also help you just accelerate your food generation over the course of the first 2 acts. I would say that getting too much food is I suppose a possibility, but in that case, it's always good to stockpile it, and then potentially use one of the locations to convert that food into another resource. So I suppose depending on your luck, it's never bad to get too much food. So let's enable those 2. And as we move up the progress tree here, some other ones that I have enabled include these technology cards here. So the 2 here on the right hand side first are ones that I pretty much enable for almost any run. The first one is Lucky Finds. Level 1 has a 20% chance of getting double the amount of resources when you explore a terrain square. This one's just a nice to have. It's always good to get better resources, and it doesn't really cost you much to have this card, so get it when you can. Cartographers along the same line will explore incomplete rows when there is only 1 missing square, and that's at level 1. By level 3, it will get all the rows with up to 3 missing squares. And depending on how you play the match or play each Tetris round, it's possible that you might run into situations where it's not advantageous to complete rows because you're trying to minimize, say, recruitment for enemy buildings, and this card here, Cartographers, can really increase the yield you get from those kind of rounds. Now, thinking back to specific gameplay for the Duchy, Clearing is an excellent card to take, especially early on, because it turns the first forest piece that you receive in the round into a plane and automatically gives you 25 wood, which even at this level 1, it's a great deal more than what you would get from the exploration yields, and plains is what we need to convert into fields to take full advantage of our military buildings. Along those lines, as we are transforming plains into fields, we want cards that help us benefit from that. So terraformers will give us 4 exploration resources from the transformation effect. So this is just a nice to have. It'll kick in every time we either convert a plain into a field, or when we use our wood clear, if we convert a forest into a plain, we'll also get that extra benefit from terraformers as well. And land expansion along the same vein, when we transform, there's a possibility, depending on the adjacency of pieces in the transformation area, that a few additional squares will also get transformed. So just like a nice little added touch. Alright, so moving further up the list here, one possibility that you could include is strength in numbers. We potentially are going to have maybe a few windmills which recruit ranged troops. I am going to disable it for this run, just because there are other factions that I think that more reliably take advantage of this card, but it's, never, I think, a terrible card to take, unless you're playing the North. You definitely don't take this for the North. No Mercy is a easy way to gain money if you choose to not play all the enemy buildings during a round. This is definitely a card that you will take on extreme difficulty and above, because you are not allowed to keep enemy buildings in the reserve slot in those on those difficulties. On the lower ones, it's still not a bad thing to keep. If you're comfortably winning rounds, then play all the enemy building cards, take No Mercy, and get a reliable 100 gold per round, and that's actually quite a bit of money right there. Erudition is definitely one of the best technology cards, especially if you get this early on. Having a 4th selection every time you draft greatly improves the odds that you'll get the cards that you need to win your run. So definitely be on the lookout for this, especially from the university. We'll want to take this card early on when it becomes available. Pushing further up the progress tree, one other card that I've enabled here is the Dispensary. The Dispensary is going to give you back 1 defense for every 10 food collected this round. That's at level 1, and by level 3, I believe it's 1 defense for every 6 food. This is a card that, its value really kind of depends on how much difficulty you're having, being able to cleanly win rounds and maintain your defense. We're going to be playing this run on hard, which is not going to be too challenging, but definitely I would say by the time you hit Extreme or Nightmare, this would be a nice card to have, just to help keep your top off your defense at the end of every round, to make sure that you are not at risk of losing those rounds during the combat phase. Alrighty, and then finally, as we start to reach the top of our progress tree, I've enabled the Thieves Hideout. This is just my favorite military building to keep for any faction, any run. In the current patch of 1.2.19, this building can recruit a ridiculous number of troops, even at level 1, let alone level 3, and this is the one that I've used to really carry my runs, especially on the harder difficulties. And with that in mind as well, I always enable the Blacksmith. I think this is probably the most overpowered card in the entire game. You definitely want to stick this next to any building that you rely on to recruit a lot of troops and win your combat rounds, or even next to buildings that generate yields that you need, resources that you need to facilitate great important upgrades for your deck. So definitely, this is a card that I don't expect that we'll see till maybe Act 2 earliest, but if it comes, we'll definitely take it. Alrighty, so that concludes how I would prefer to set up my progress tree for a run playing as the Duchy. We're going to go ahead and click on Start a New Run here. I'm going to pick Hard, just to make this not on normal. The runs can feel a little bit like a cakewalk. Hard, you have to think a little bit harder, I guess, about your decision-making process. On this difficulty, the enemy garrisons are a little bit higher, cost a bit more to replenish your defense. Mercenaries definitely become expensive if you feel like you're in a pinch and you need to rely on them, and it just makes things a little bit more. It makes the player a little bit more accountable. So with that, we're going to click the Duchy, and here on the top is our starting deck. Don't fret if this looks a little bit different than your starting deck. This is what you'll get as of the current patch if you complete all the missions as the Duchy, and I'm referring to this tab right here. There are a total of 12 missions that you can complete, which offer a multitude of benefits, some of which influence that starting deck. All I would mainly say is that, if you are planning to play this game on the harder difficulties, hard maybe is okay, but above that, I would say you would want to focus on getting this sort of fully stacked starting deck before playing through those runs, because it does make a difference, I would say, in terms of the power level you have early on. But in terms of the cards, the Watchtower is definitely our workhorse in the early game for getting military recruitment. Recruits 2 ranged troops for each plane within range and 5 for each field in range, and we're definitely going to focus on maximizing those kind of tiles within within that range. And to help with that, we have our fortified farm, which also starts off with the same range of 2 and turns every plane into a field. So those two pair together nicely. And then in situations where we are dealing with wood pieces in the meantime, we can actually stick the wood near those buildings and then place a wood clearer nearby to turn those forests into plains. So the wood clearer is a great way just to get even more plains, on the grid. And if you place it right near a lot of different forest pieces, you can get a very hefty amount of wood from this card. And that will be important because the watchtower, fortified farm, and wood clearer require food and wood. That's all we need resource-wise to upgrade those cards. The watchtower requires both. Wood clearer, I think, just requires the food, and the fortified farm the wood, or vice versa. I don't remember. I might be getting that wrong. Finally, let's end with the garden. The garden is just like a nice little technology card where when we place down buildings adjacent to plains, they will automatically convert some of them into fields. At the starting level of 2, it will convert 2 of them. Alrighty. And with those other upgrades, we have a starting resource pool of 100 food and 100 wood, as well as a starting defense of 70. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and kick off our start. Alrighty, Act 1. So at the once you fully unlock the progress tree, the first building that you will run into is the fortune teller, and here we want to make sure that we are trying to thin out the amount of cards that we can receive during drafts. We really want to focus on cards that we want and cards that we never are going to pick. And so in this case, for example, like the fields one, this is like the worst choice you can pick. We definitely want cards relating to fields. So when looking at the other two, we can choose either these 5 cards relating to rivers or these 7 cards relating to mountains. I would say most likely we don't really need to rely on the stoned resource all too much. And because this selection on the bottom removes even more cards, I'm going to click this one right here, remove Seasider. Fantastic. And so we're going to go ahead and play out our first round. We have 2 options here. One that has 70% plains, 30% river. The other one is 35% plains, 40% forest, and 25% river. In this case, because we actually need both wood and and food, I'm going to go with that right option. You can see here, this is our current deck. This is always good to look at to get a sense of what your upgrades, what resources you need to make those upgrades, and we do actually want to upgrade these cards when we can. So you'll see the watchtower requires both, and then wood clear and fortified farm require one specific type. So I'm going to pick this option to the right. And again, because this is the first round of Act 1, we're going to play a peaceful round. We don't have to worry about the enemy deck quite yet. And nicely, we have here 3 buildings and 3 slots. And here's the preview of our terrain. So let's go ahead and get things started. And so what I typically like to do in this kind of situation is to build out different sections corresponding to different terrain. So in this case, we're going to focus on maybe using that left side for wood forest, and then maybe the right side for these rivers, or at least the right bottom, like that. And we already got our watchtower, but we don't actually have any planes to use yet, so I'm going to hold on to that in the reserve slot, at least until we can put in that wood clearer, which is coming in at a nice time. So I'm actually going to go ahead and maybe place this, let's see, we're going to place our watchtower right here, even though we don't quite have all the things there yet, and place the wood clearer right there, because then it gets more planes. And then we're going to want to place a fortified farm nearby to take advantage of those plains now turning into fields. So let's take a look. If you highlight this building, you can see the range of its pieces, and you can see that if we put this piece right down here, we're not going to quite get it's not going to all turn into plains, so, which is unfortunate. So we might decide to stick this piece up here and use this one instead, so that we can take full advantage of that wood clearer and really just help improve our wood collection right here. So now at this point we're really kind of more focusing on gaining plains just to get even more fields that we explore and get more food resources from. We'll complete that last row. Yeah, and that's the end of the round. So I think a fairly decent round right there. We got quite a bit of wood, quite a bit of food, and now we'll see what we get from our draw. So from here, by default you get 3 cards to choose from, with the option to re-roll. Depending on how you've been playing, you might start off with up to 6 free re-rolls. Otherwise, I think every re-roll is going to be 50 gold. I'm going to try not to do re-rolls because you may not necessarily have that capability when in your own playthroughs. And so with this current setup, I'm going to pick the center card here, which actually is a unique faction card for the Duchy, where each military building adjacent to 3 field squares recruits an additional 4 troops. And that's not bad. It's not going to give us a huge power spike, but it can still be good. Next up, we have the university location. And so here we're going to see what kind of cards we can get. This top option includes some of the exploration cards that I showcased in the progress tree, like cartographers and lucky finds. This middle option includes treadmill crane, which reduces the cost of upgrading building cards, printing press, which does the same for technology cards, and erudition, which gives you that 4th level 1 card to choose from. And then usually that last option is just going to be all the technology cards that are currently available in this run, and you get to choose 3 from there. You might recall that I mentioned in the progress tree review to grab erudition early on when you can, because that really increases your chance of getting the card that you want. So we're absolutely going to go ahead and pick that. And now we are going to move on to our next round. So you'll see here that we hit a fork in the road. We can either pick the left path or the right path, which is going to only converge later up here at this trading fair. And that's going to be important to take into account, because when we look at these paths, one side has a hostile region, the other one a peaceful region. And you'll see from that little pop-up there, if we choose to take the peaceful region, the final boss is going to start with an additional 15 troops than what the boss ordinarily gets. And if we scroll all the way to the top, the boss at hard difficulty is going to have a starting garrison of 127. This could go even higher if you don't have optimal placement of the enemy buildings. So usually, unless you almost always pick between a peaceful and a hostile region, you pick the hostile region, because you do not want to have to face even more troops on that boss stage. I'm actually almost inclined to take the peaceful region though, just because this hostile region doesn't have any plains, which means our watchtowers cannot recruit any troops. We have to rely completely on our wood clearer to create the plains we need to recruit those troops, which is going to be pretty rough. That being said, when we look at what comes after, there's these depots. If we take the left side, we get gold, which is okay, but not the resource that we really need to upgrade our cards currently. The right side gives you food, which is more important for our run. So with that in mind, I think we're going to go ahead and pick the right. It looks like we can already upgrade our wood clearer, so I'm going to go ahead and take that upgrade. So we're going to go to the right. We're going to take that upgrade. And we're going to play this knowing that there's a good chance that we might be losing this fight. That's fine. This maybe will keep that enemy building in the reserve slot after all. Alright, and in fact, I'm going to start with some rivers here that we're just going to kind of slot around at the bottom. Alrighty, and there comes our wood clearer. Now, we don't really have a good area to use our wood clearer for the moment, so we're going to need to think about how we place those cards. Let's see. Oh, now we're kind of forced to place at least one of these cards. So I'm going to place this one here. Start placing these buildings around it. Alrighty, so we're starting to get some effect from that. We'll go ahead and place this building right there. And let's see, we're going to use our constellation here for the first time. You have different constellations you can pick that create different effects and take a certain number of charges to fully enable. So I have here Corvus, which will change your terrain piece into some random other shape. And this is a great one to use when you feel like you have one that just doesn't quite fit with what you have on the board. It takes, by default, only 5 pieces to charge up, so you need to place 5 pieces. After using it, you need to place 5 additional pieces before you can use it again, which honestly is not even all that much. So it's a pretty fantastic card. We're gonna. I see here that we have our fortified farm coming up, so I'm gonna try to make some space for that. Alrighty, so here we go. And now we're just going to close out this round, like that. So you see, because I left that barracks in the reserve slot, we don't have to fight it, which makes this fight a great deal easier to have to deal with. This is our first combat phase, and so again, unless you are playing the North, the way to complete the combat phase is to choose an order in which all these different groups are strung together. So you have to kind of pick some kind of order where everything gets chosen. And so when you're doing this, you want to do it in a way that takes advantage of the combat wheel here, where light troops have an advantage over ranged troops, ranged troops have an advantage over heavy troops, and heavy troops have an advantage over light troops. And when you reach that advantage point, your troops deal 50% more damage than usual. You also have the option of combining groups of this on the same side, and that will potentially change up what their type is. So in this case, if I select this heavy troop group, enemy heavy troop group, and combine it with the light troop group, you can in fact even see the preview here, because they have the same number and the light troop is the second group I'm selecting, it will actually all convert into light. Which is something you can do. And so what I might actually do in this case is pick the ranged troops, which I know have advantage over heavy. That's going to go down to 9 remaining ranged troops. Because 9 is less than 10, if I combine it, they all become heavy, and heavy has an advantage over light, and so that's going to give me a net 9 heavy troops to win out this battle. So that looks good. Let's go ahead and give that a try. And those 9 remaining troops gets added as gold, and we're done. Fantastic. Here we go. Oh, look at these are a lot of fantastic cards. So I think the way this works is that the right 3 are going to be the usual 3 cards that you get, and then Erudition comes in and gives you this leftmost option. In actuality, looking at this, they're all pretty solid options, to be honest. Thieves' Hideout is definitely going to be the one I'll take, just because that is my favorite card to use. But Clearing is also a really great one, just to get even more wood. And the Wood Clearer is another building that we can place just to, again, convert more forests into plains and get more recruitment for our watchtowers, while also getting more wood resources. So a lot of solid options here, but we'll go ahead and pick Thieves' Hideout. And now we hit that food depot. We can choose to either just take 200 food for free, or we can take hit a 15 defense and get 400 food. Be careful with this. You know, I would say on lower difficulties, you can definitely take that defense hit and be fine. On higher ones, you have to kind of be a little bit more mindful of that. Given that we got that Thieves' Hideout so early on, and that I know I can definitely recruit a lot of troops from it, I'm going to actually take that risk. I'm going to take the hit and really increase that amount. And so with that in play, now we really are in a situation where we can upgrade a whole lot of these cards. But this Thieves Hideout is the one I'm going to really want to focus on, just because I have that advantage. But so we're going to go here. This is a trading fair where you can choose to trade either one of your level 1 cards for some other random level 1. And that's the one I pick only if I really have a terrible card that I don't want. And I just don't want to trade any other resources. Usually, though, you're going to pick one of these 3. And it's going to take a look at the resource that you have the most of. In this case, that's food. And let you trade it for the other 2 at a better rate. Or it'll take your second most one, which in this case is wood, and let you trade for your least one, which is gold. So in this case, I don't really need that much food. So I'm going to trade that out for gold in this case, mainly because I want to upgrade this Thieves Hideout. And in fact, I even have enough gold to do the next upgrade if I want it, once I get enough food and wood, but we don't quite have that amount yet. So let's go ahead and pick this one on the right. Again, because we want between a hostile and peaceful region, we want to pick the hostile one. And now that we have that card, we're going to spend 50 food to unlock our 4th building slot and throw in that Thieves Guild. And so here we want to make sure the way you play the Thieves Guild is you want to stick it next to as many other buildings as you can. If you do it with the friendly buildings, it actually can kind of screw up. It takes away squares within range that these other buildings could have used to generate its own effects. So that actually can be harmful. But if you need the troops, you need the troops, so you go ahead and do it. More likely, though, what we can do is we can place it actually next to these enemy buildings. It works off enemy buildings too, which is why the Thieves Hideout is so overpowered. And so the general strategy in this round is to get these ranger bases as close to the Thieves Hideout as we can, while also keeping it away from any forest pieces. So that's the plan. We'll see how this actually turns out, though. So let's start playing the round. Right off the bat, we got that ranger base, so we're gonna stick this card here, stick this one here, and then we're gonna stick this at the bottom, away from any potential wood. We already got a wood clear. I don't know when the other forest pieces are gonna come, so I'm actually gonna place a card down just to see what comes up, and I can do undo just to bring it back in. It looks like we're going to have plains for a while, so I'm just going to go ahead and take advantage of this and get those wood pieces right there. Is that the right call? You know what? No. I changed my mind. Here, we can do that. So let's see if we can't get even more. Alright, now we have some more over here. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Maybe it would have been better to use that wood clear earlier, but it's okay. So we're going to stick this here. Get some troops. I'm going to stick this here and here. And now we have 3 buildings that are in range. Boom. And now we got a whole ton of troops all of a sudden. Finally, we're getting our farm and these other pieces here, so we can take into account whether or not how we want to use that wood clear. So first off, let's go ahead and let's place this down over here. I'm going to place this wood clear here. And I also got additional recruitment from my Thieves Guild. I'm going to place this here. Place the farm here. And place these last pieces. So just take a look at this. With 4 buildings, my level 2 Thieves Hideout got up to 60 troops, which is, you know, I guess more than the other 2 combined. So you really can just amplify your sort of recruitment, total recruitment at the end of round with this Thieves Hideout. It really is an amazing card. So I'm going to go ahead and play this first, push it up against the light troops, which have an advantage here. And we're going to end the round with a whole ton of attacks. Fantastic. Now, of course, by using the Thieves Hideout, we did lose some resources there. That is the only real disadvantage of that, but, you know, it's okay. Given that we're playing as the Duchy, and I want to showcase more of the Duchy's unique buildings, we'll go ahead and probably take a second watchtower here. The militia one is also kind of cool, but it doesn't apply quite as often. Alrighty. And we have yet another hostile region to confront. So now, let's take a look at our yields. We definitely want to get more wood, more food coming up. So I'm actually going to upgrade both the wood clear and fortify farm to level 3. Normally I would try to start upgrading military buildings because that's what's going to really make sure you get through the round, but with the level 2 Thieves Hideout, we just really have a very, very low risk that we're going to be losing out on rounds. We also could upgrade this erudition to level 2, which means that our 4th card selection is going to start at level 2, but given that I still want to save some gold to take this Thieves Hideout to level 3, I'm going to not spend it on this card yet. So let's go ahead and upgrade the farm, which gives it range 3, really increasing that amount. And maybe we'll hold off on the wood clear just because this round doesn't actually have any wood. So, just for this round, we're going to take out the wood clear, throw in the watchtower, and we're going to play it out. Alright, Mercenary Camp, Stronghold, and Strategic Pavilion. Let's go. Alrighty, here we go. Oh, there is that stronghold. So, when you have a stronghold, strongholds recruit troops when there are gaps on its adjacent edges, and that also includes the borders. So the worst thing you actually can do is get a stronghold at the very start, because then you're forced to place it against at least one border edge. In this case, we can at least place it here and then try to surround it with some other pieces. And in fact, I need at least an L-shaped piece here. This is the wrong L-shape. Unfortunately, that did not help, so I am going to undo that and find somewhere else to put it. I'm not even really sure where we can put this guy. So we're going to... it ain't pretty, but we're just going to stick this here for now. Does this one cooperate? Not fully, but... you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just at least try to get some value out of that. Okay, and now we have our other 2 buildings coming up, so I'm going to put this one over here, and this one on top of it. Oh, no, not on top of it, what am I saying? Over here. Strategic pavilions recruit troops when you place military buildings adjacent to it, so we want to watch out for that. Alright, so we got our military buildings coming up right here. Let's see what we can do. You know what? I'm going to stick this over here. I'm going to stick this here, convert a whole bunch of fields into farms. We're going to stick this here. Oh, and I accidentally triggered... sorry, I realized I accidentally triggered this recruitment here. I'm going to stick with it. You know, sometimes a little damage is not too bad. A little recruitment isn't the worst thing in the world. And now these watchtowers just get more as we are able to get more fields into play. Not to mention our food is just going really high up. Alrighty, none of these can complete the row. How about this one? This can complete it. Good. You see, and because I had that gap, this stronghold got a few additional troops. but overall, we did perfectly fine. This is going to easily clear. Round 1, and now you can see with that level 3 farm, we start from, I don't remember how much food we had going in. It was not a lot, but we gained here we go. We gained 257. That's quite a bit. So what we really need is just a more wood at this point. Exploited Lands is a nice card to really get even more food. At this point, I don't even know if we really need it. We kind of need more wood, to be honest. So I'm going to... This really is a good card. I'm not going to take it for this playthrough, but definitely for your own playthroughs, you should strongly consider it if you don't already have a lot of food coming into play. I know that I will, because there's a depot coming up that gives food. So I'm going to take the carpenter instead. Okay, this time I'm not going to take the 15. So here we can either refill defenses or gain a card with a village on the left, or we're going to hit another trading fair, which could let us upgrade our cards. Which could be interesting, actually. We could use that to trade food for wood and potentially upgrade our watchtowers. So I might consider that. Let me see. When you go with the village, when you gain a card, it actually picks from your faction-specific cards that I showcased at the beginning of the playthrough. In this case, I don't know that there's any faction-specific cards that are super amazing that we want to take, so I'm actually going to go with the trading fair in this case. And we're going to take that food. Oh, interesting. It actually lets you trade gold instead. I don't know why it chose that. It should have really... The top two should have been food, but that's fine. Alright, and that really boosted that up. So now we can even get our watchtower, our original one, up to level 3. This wood clear, or even our Thieves Hideout to level 3. I'm going to try to showcase more basic dynamics, so I'm going to get the wood clear up first. And then we'll save up for the watchtower. So let's go into the final. And now we are going to be facing the first boss. So I'm going to unlock a slot so I can get that wood clear into play. Unfortunately, I'm not able to also get the Carpenter without sacrificing another card. Considering now that we have such a glut of wood, maybe I should have taken the Exploited Lands. I'm sorry. But that's okay. So, lesson learned. Even when you've played a lot, sometimes it's just hard to anticipate how your resources are going to change over time. So, I guess that Carpenter I should have taken the Exploited Lands over the Carpenter. That's fine. But let's get straight into this boss gameplay. So the wall is one of 2 bosses you can face at the end of Act 1. And you can see this 357 number. That looks terrible, right? Don't worry. So as you place more cards, this wall is going to move up. And that number is going to decrease. And when it hits, I think, like 4 squares above from the top, then it stops. And it's at its minimum value. But in the meantime, what we need to emphasize is very, very tight gameplay. Keeping pieces... minimizing the amount of gaps that we have here. So, already we got our second enemy building, so we're going to stick that over there. We can potentially make a play with our wood clearer here. Start getting some more things there. And then with that as well, I'm going to maybe make a play with the farm. And then, this rally point is just annoying. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Okay, I'm going to place this here. Place this here. I don't like river. There we go. That wood clear is getting to work. In fact, we have space for even another one. Do we, though, want to use our Thieves Hideout? In this case, we have just a few buildings left, so even though it would be more, resource-wise, it's more optimal to place that wood piece down, I'm going to try to take more advantage of the recruitment instead. So We're going to place maybe one building here. Place this here. Place this other one down here. Alrighty. And now in this case, I think 51's the end of where the wall ends, so whatever pieces we can squeeze in is just what we're going to get. I'm going to go ahead and stick the wooden fortress into reserve, because why not? We don't want to have to deal with it if we don't need to. Small one line. Now we can't fit anything else, so when we do this, the wall comes down, and we're done with that. Alrighty, so honestly not too bad. Now you can see, because we were kind of stuck not creating the most optimal placements, like these river pieces were not the best placed. These three ones right here, I sacrificed some recruitment for these watchtowers by having my thieves hideout stuck in the middle, but my thieves hideout got quite a few troops as a result. So as we start putting this together, we can create quite a nice effect. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then we're just going to go straight into our light troops, because those have an advantage over the range. And the boss type is just neutral, so there is no advantage or disadvantage. You just fight it straight up. Just like that, we are through Act 1. Very clean. And that Thieves Hideout really pulled us through. You're not always going to get that. And so if I redid this run without the Thieves Hideout, I would say the watchtowers, should be more optimally placed. I don't know that we would have gotten quite as many troops, but it would have been enough to defeat the boss. Not a worry there. Alrighty, and so here our final draft for Act 1. Interestingly, Lucky Finds is definitely a card that you can always use. Stone Mine could also be a useful one, because it lets you get stone without needing mountains, which is the natural terrain to get stones. And that is something that could be useful if I had to use cards that require a lot of stone for upgrades. I actually don't think we're ever going to come across that, though. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Lucky Finds. At the end of every act, we're going to have to choose to leave behind a terrain. Now, because the Duchy, its primary cards, or faction-specific cards, rely on food and wood for its upgrades, we still want to keep those plains and those forests, especially we can use our farm and our wood clear to get those resources. So we're going to leave behind river, which does mean that we will not have a way to naturally generate gold unless we get a specific card for it, which we might actually get it, so we'll just wait and see. This first row here has transformation related cards. These ones could be handy because we are doing a lot of transforming with our farm, and the clearing one is just straight up good because it just gives us more wood right off the bat. Exploration is still kind of the same thing from before, and again the full technology set. In this case, I'm going to do the transforming terrain one because that looks different, and yes, I'm going to grab that clearing. Just make it very easy to get wood. Now we have 2 hostile, 1 peaceful. Before we pick, we're going to scroll up and just see what else we can get. So there's a guild where we can get building cards, which might be useful because I kind of want some additional building cards. We go left for another hostile region, a guild, a depot, trading fair or port, 1 final hostile round before we hit the keep. So with that, knowing what our path looks like, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick the one that has more plains because we actually kind of need more food right now. Are there any upgrades we want to use at the moment? We may not. And so, do we want to change up the buildings? We actually don't need. I truly am regretting taking that carpenter over the exploited lands, but it's okay. And in terms of the enemy deck this round, siege camps will remove friendly troops for buildings within range. So we really got to be careful and place these off to the side where it won't affect our own military buildings. And then the prison comes with a larger garrison, but you can remove it if you can place it next to a friendly building that exceeds a certain amount. We got it first though, so that might be rough. Oh, there you go. There's clearing. We got that food right there. I am going to place this here. Place this off to the side. And then, oh. Alright, well. We're going to place this. Oh, there's the other sea champ. You know what? Never mind. I'm going to place this down instead and hope that we get our Thieves Guild somewhere, sometime soon. We will see. This is not the optimal shape, but that one is. Alright, here, we're going to stick this other one down here. Now all those buildings are off. I don't think I can place the Thieves' hideout next to this without losing too many troops, but that's okay. Let's start getting some. Alright, we're going to start getting some troops in. Oh, beautiful. Can we find something fit here? That doesn't work. This one. That also doesn't work. So you just keep, with Corvus, you just keep cycling through different pieces and see what fits. So in that case, I'm going to just create this gap here. So be it. Let's place this here. Or you know what? Alrighty. I'm just going to stack these up on the side. That didn't really help me. I don't care for mountains. We're going to stick you off to the side. There we go. And we have our Thieves' hideout. Beautiful. And now I think at this point we don't have to worry about recruitment anymore, so I'm just going to try to create as many rows as I can. Voila! Now in this case, we actually have a lot more heavy troops to have to deal with, which is annoying. So we need to see if we can't find a way to build up our light troops, in which case we can. Oh, it's not going to be quite enough. Okay, so interesting. We're going to take the light troops out directly and then switch over to ranged troops to get that advantage. And there we go, just like that, we have a win. We got 200 food, not bad. Alrighty, so with this case you can take this masonry card if you really are worried about stone as an upgrade. I don't know that we have anything that really needs stone though. So maybe in that case I might just take the strong defender card to increase my max defense. Do we even need to upgrade these? I don't even think I care about upgrading my technology card, so yes. Alright, we're gonna go make sure we take this left path, but we can pick either of these. Let's go take a building card. Let's see what we can get. Something that produces wood. I actually don't need that anymore. A heavy troop thing, we can get another fortified farm, which would be quite interesting. Or we can get even another watchtower. I don't know that we need a whole another watchtower, so maybe the farm just to get more wood, get more fields, but I don't know. At level 3, I think this thing actually is quite good, so fine. Let's do the ranged. We'll just grab this. Here we go. Alright, this one's got a lot more wood, and we got these ranger bases to worry about. Actually, and wooden fortress. All 4 buildings recruit off of forest, so we gotta keep that out of the way. Which, you know, should not be a big deal. There's that card again. Let's see. Ugh. Let's see, we don't really have the most optimal placement here. Okay, yeah, I got that force stuck down there, which I don't really love too much, but so be it. Could really use a wood clearer right now. Oh, a ton for that thieves hideout. Oh, there's that wood clearer. Okay. Alright, so in that case, if I stick that wood clearer right there, that should get me a lot. I think we stick this here. That. There we go. Oh, that card's actually going to be better. This. Oh, finally, that second watchtower. Oh, that's going to kind of suck, but... Alright. Sometimes... That is the luck of the draw. Sometimes you just don't get very good cards to... Or good orders here to take advantage for your recruitment, so... Is that maxed out? That's almost maxed out. I just need to place that spot at the end. I am not going to keep this in reserve. I'll just go ahead and stick it here. How did... Oh. I changed that one building. No, I guess I will keep it in reserve then. Alright, fine. Alrighty. We're going to take this down a bit before focusing on those, and we're done. Ta-da! Alrighty. 200 for this round as well. So slowly but sure we're getting those. Oh, okay, so the windmill is what I would have grabbed earlier in the run just to get more food, and we really could use some more food, but you never turn down the blacksmith. The blacksmith is where you're going to get a whole ton of value. Alrighty, we're going to pair that up with our thieves hideout to really just get a lot of troops. Let's try our luck with this random production building. Farm or Burgomaster. Oh, that's an interesting card. That one is the way that we would get gold at playing as the duchy, and given that it is, even though it may not be a farm might actually be better just to get some more fields onto the grid. I'm going to take this one just to showcase. This is how we get gold. More food. Or a free upgrade. The port will let you get a free upgrade. And you can pay an additional 150 gold to upgrade a level 2 card. Which is something that we could take advantage of quite well. But that means we need to get the wood. Which is not the resource that I want. So, what do we go for here? Let's try it. We're gonna go here. Take the wood. Go here. Do the upgrade. Level 3 watchtower. That's pretty nice. If we hit another trading fair, we can get a ridiculous amount of food just by doing this trade. So, alrighty. So let's go ahead and unlock additional slot. Or you know what? Yeah, we definitely need to unlock additional slot. We're going to take out the level 1 watchtower because we don't really need it at the moment. But we're going to throw in the blacksmith and the burgomaster. And then we're going to look at upgrades. So you can see here that the cards you have selected have this little sash across, and that's the ones that you usually want to focus on upgrade. So we could, for example, upgrade our Thieves Hideout right now. I'm not going to, because that's going to take up a lot of wood, and I do want to showcase more of these other cards later on as we pull it together. So, I mean, could we just... Let's go ahead and just play this a little bit differently. You know what, I'm going to go ahead and take out the Thieves Hideout, throw another Watchtower, and maybe we'll just upgrade the Watchtower instead. So there we go. So now we have a level 2 and level 3 Watchtower with 9 planes, which is quite a lot. Let's try this out. Horse stables. Okay, so the key with horse stables is to make sure you place them next to, right next to another building. That is ideally what you want to do. Oh, this is just... So like in this case, I can actually place them side by side like this, and they will not recruit any additional troops that way. I cannot squeeze that in. So, this is my level 3, right? Okay. This can actually get quite a few troops out. So like this. The question is whether... So the training camp is going to send troops to align buildings. So I'm going to stick it off to the side. I don't really... I guess we'll pop this over here. Oh, that's right. I can't even use... Okay. I'm going to put this here. I want to put the blacksmith down here. That's why I was kind of... Alright, we'll just... There we go. Where is my farm? I want my farm to go right there. My farm goes here. That will get a range of 3. That should be enough. So I'm going to stick this onto the side. And we'll stick this over here. There's my farm. Okay. My wood clearer is not going to get as much action this round. Unless I can place stuff... Oh, actually, I don't have any... Okay, so I do need to use that wood clearer to change any remaining tiles into planes. So, in that case... we will put this up here. Does it have a range of... Oh, that's not quite enough, sorry. Here. And then... Let's see if I can't squeeze this now. Sorry. We'll do this here. Put the farm in. There you go. Much better looking. And because I got all those fields connected to this Burgomaster, I got a bunch of gold for my troubles as well. So, in that case, we are not going to get optimal placement here. We're just going to go like this. Alrighty, and we're going to finish up the round. Alright, and there's that blacksmith. Unfortunately, I stuck 2 buildings next to the blacksmith. The blacksmith will, at level 1, copies the effects of 1 random building adjacent to it. I wanted to copy the watchtower. It copied the fortified farm instead, which is unfortunate, but that is okay. We can work with that. So in this case, also though, given that we have light troops that we're going up against, I don't know that there's going to be a way we can use these ranged troops without getting a disadvantage. So that is really unfortunate. Let's see if we can't maybe target one of them. This is going to leave 8. Gets a little bit more. Alright. So we had a few battles here that were not to our advantage. And you can see that by the little borders that they create around the attack. So we want to avoid those, but it's okay. It happens occasionally. Alrighty, and now let's go ahead and pick out this militia one. Just gives us a little bit more recruitment if we need it. And head into the boss round. So this boss is going to have... Oh, I did not see... I did not check how many troops it's going to have, but... in this case, are we going to try... Yeah, let's maybe play this round with the extra watchtower. And we'll go ahead and upgrade that other watchtower. Ooh, actually, I already have enough to upgrade this to level 3 as well. So... Oh, I just need more... Oh, I was 1 stone off the blacksmith upgrade. That is so frustrating. Wow. Okay, you know what? I'll upgrade this. I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to take away that level 1 watchtower. And honestly, like the easy win is to just throw in the Thieves' Hideout. But we're going to avoid that for now, just so we can show off more of Duchy mechanics. You got to see a bit of Thieves' Hideout earlier. That's pretty cool. 204. Well, that's pretty dicey. So here we go. The Towers basically has this gameplay where it starts off with a certain garrison, that's 204. Every time you place a building within the line of sight of towers, which is represented by these eyeballs here, it will gain additional troops for every defense tower, in this case 17. That is not fun. So if you want buildings, you basically want buildings like up in this middle area here, and you want to build up to it. In this case, we're actually going to throw off pieces we don't like stone. We don't care about mountains. And then we're going to build up some plains in the middle so that we can recruit more off of it. That. And now we can maybe throw in our watchtower like this. Heck, we'll throw in our blacksmith like that. And then we need to make room for our wood clear at some point as well, depending on when that comes into play. There's our wood clear. Here we go. Nice big change right there. You know what? Just because I put the Burgomaster down here, I'm going to trigger the tower effect just to show you what that looks like. That's what this would look like. So, gain that 17 troops. I got a nice big club of fields over here. Now I'm kind of looking for that second watchtower. There it is, over there. Okay, mountains off to the side, watchtowers into the center. Okay, now it's really more about just filling up the space and trying to get a few more exploration gains. Here. Woof. That one was rough. Let's take a look at what we got here. Oh. Well, getting those watchtowers near those big clump of fields definitely helped out. So we won the battle cleanly. I actually wasn't sure how it was going to play out. The blacksmith definitely helped. You know, getting that next to the right watchtower. gave us a good healthy boost of troops. Another watchtower. We don't really need it. It's okay. This heavy plow can be really nice because you get an additional 4 food when exploring a field, and that just really amps it up. So we're going to go ahead and take that. Masonry also might have been good, just to help me upgrade that blacksmith sooner, but now that I actually have above 100 stone, it's fine. And because I don't even have anything that I want to upgrade with stone other than that blacksmith, we're going to go ahead and leave the mountain behind too. I mean, I think I would have left behind the mountain anyways. Again, focus on the wood and that food, but just extra emphasis on that decision there. Here on this path for axe number 3, we want to take the right side, grab that hostile region. This, I think we take this for the fields. Fields again. Plains, sorry. We want more plains. Oh, I guess this actually ends up being about equal. Yeah, they're symmetrical, so. But with that, I think we are good on buildings, so we'll go ahead and push up around the right side, maybe take technology card. Technology cards are great because they always are in play. You don't have to dedicate a building slot for it. Because I've been doing upgrade. This treadmill crane would have been great earlier on, before I started upgrading some parts to level 3. We'll take it now though, just to reduce the cost of some of my upgrades there. We don't actually need money as much anymore, which is great. But you know, I'm gonna go ahead and just upgrade this. Just what the heck, why not? Because we might get that level 3, another good level 3 card. 270 gold, 200 gold. In fact, we can double upgrade this just for... Oh, wait, never mind. I'm 3 stone off now. Never mind. Okay, so in that case, we're going to take even more wood. Let's go fight. Alright, now we have a level 2 blacksmith, so we can stick that next to 2 watchtowers and see that fly. So, horse stables and training camps. And actually, we need to really watch out for where does our wood clear come in. Put this here, actually. Maybe this is here. Here. Oh, welcome to the third terrain type wasteland. These are the suckiest because they don't get you anything. You get no yields from this sucker. This is here. We are holding out for that wood clear. Where is it? Alright, here, I guess we can go ahead and stick to these in that corner spot. Like that. There's that wood clearer. Alright, here. This Burgomaster can go right here. And the wood clearer we can place... I think we can place it off to the side, and nope, we still want to place it here, I think, just to get even more troops. So in that case, do it like this, like this. Oh, man, I'm trying to wait for my fortified farm to come up. Still not coming up, unfortunately. Where are you, my fortified farm? I want to slot you like right here, maybe. Get to the side. There we go. Alright, now we just gotta play out the rest of these rounds. Shoot, I can't complete a row on top like this. Okay. Oh no, it doubled the wood gain! So I was hoping it was going to grab both of these troops, but instead it actually grabbed this wood clearer instead. Oh, it's so annoying. These guys really are annoying sometimes. Okay, so 44 is the best I can get. Ugh. Alright. Not the best luck with troop variety. The group types are constantly fighting at a disadvantage, but we are getting enough troops. Even with that blacksmith not doing what we want, we still did fine. I don't. At this point it doesn't really matter as much what cards we pick. We're pretty much set. Oh, you know, we can still pick this one though. So let's see. We are going to see if we can't use land expansion. Get ourselves even more. Plains converted into fields. Now, do we go left or do we go right? They are both exactly the same, so I'm just going to go left. Watchtowers. Oh, enemy watchtowers now. And rally points. And a raider colony. Oh, what a weird mix. Alright, we're going to take out that burgomaster. We got enough. We got enough gold. And, why not upgrade this just for kicks? And get this going. Alright, so equal food, equal plains and forests. Oh, that's right. Okay. We're gonna stick these suckers on the side here. I have to watch out for that training tower. Training camp. You are messing up my placement. Oh, that's not a piece I want. That wood piece right there is a big old eyesore, but it's okay. Just what you have to deal with sometimes. Alright, we got our wood clear as well. I think if I place that here, that is... Alright, it's not quite full range. That's good enough. Oh, I can take advantage of that. Okay, so... There it is. And I think this is going to have to do one of these two. Excellent. Alrighty. Let's see. Let's squeeze these in a bit better. Alrighty. And that's basically it. We're going to place this here and here. And we're done. Alright. I did leave one building in the reserve slot there. Just because we didn't get the best placement for these 2 watchtowers. But I think we still would have won that just fine. Interesting. We got 1 of every type for the enemy side here. Which means we can maybe do some shenanigans here to try to get a better deal, so that's going to do that. And then do that, which gets this, gets that. I think that is all advantageous. Yay. Gold outlines for blue side. That's always what we want. Alright, heck, even a good haul there. Look, exploited lands. It's maybe too late to use that now. Oh, what the heck, let's just use it. Alright. You notice I have not been spending food to unlock additional slots. We don't really need it, but it's also getting really expensive, so we'll go ahead and spend 1 just to get that exploit lands into play. Oh, it's the alarm tower. Quad alarm tower. So these will recruit troops for every enemy military. So anytime I put 1 of my buildings aligned to it, it will recruit a troop. Which creates some interesting patterns to try to avoid. But we can work with it. So we do like this. So I want to avoid the left. Can't avoid the left. This is such an ugly card. Now we're going to start building up here in the center. 1, 2. Maybe even, I think this will actually trigger, right? It does. It counts as a military building. So we're gonna put the farm on top of this. Alright, and stick the exploited lands off to the side somewhere. But the blacksmith we want next to our tower. Unfortunately, I put the nicer tower over here. That's okay. I'll stick this again on the side. Alright, do we not have our other... I'm just going to look down the queue. I don't know where my 3rd watchtower is. It's stuck somewhere deep in the abyss. Yeah, so well. Oh well. Don't like this car. Don't want to deal with you. Stick it over here. This here. Change all these. There's our last. We'll stick this here. Boom. And that should be majority of the pieces that we want to place. You know what? I could just... No, I would just leave it. So, why not? Do pieces up here, and just stick it here. Alrighty. This one you can get... You can just do these 2, I think that even will be enough. I could have placed that 4th alarm tower, it would have been fine. Battle 1. Wow. And look at this, 527 food. So having those exploited lands does help out a little bit. Oh, dispensary. Let's get this for kicks. Alrighty. So it's time to look at upgrades. I'm gonna trade the... Yeah, we're gonna trade this wood for food. That lets me. Oh, why not? Gold for food? Huh, I was not expecting that. Okay, well, whatever. Alright, the bribery. Alright, let's go ahead and get the last round going. We're going to add this in. We're going to take away exploited lands because we don't actually really need that anymore. And we're going to add it back our Thieves' Hideout. Save it for the last one. The Dispensary. So, Dispensary is a card that will replenish your defense for based on the amount of food you collect during the round. At level 2 is every 8 food. This actually would have been good to place with exploited lands much earlier, but at this point I only have a little bit of defense left to replenish, so it's okay. I don't really need that exploited lands in play. So instead we're going to focus on upgrading our remaining cards. We're going to focus on our ones that are Duchy related ones, so let's get this Watchtower first. Actually, do I want to upgrade? Where's my treadmill crane? 160. Oh, this is... So we're going to upgrade this just to make... upgrade treadmill crane to make the rest of our building grade upgrades a little bit cheaper, if that makes sense. That's a big mouthful. So we'll do that, and now our Watchtower level 2 upgrade is a little bit cheaper. So should our Thieves' Hideout. And is that all of our selected cards? A Blacksmith we were not going to be able to upgrade, I don't think. Because it takes a ton of stone, which we were not going to have that stone. Oh, but we also don't have enough stone for this dispensary, so shame. Okay, and then just for kicks, why don't we go ahead and upgrade some of these cards here? So we're going to upgrade the clearing, get even more. No, upgrade clearing again or militia. So militia gives you additional troops for every time you place it next to a production building. That only really applies. Our production building is this farm. So it might happen, but not as likely. So we're going to do the clearing again. At level 3, it turns the first 2 force pieces each round into a field, which is amazing. Can definitely help with our recruitment. Alright, let's see what we can do from this. Alright, so 3 watchtowers fully upgraded with a fully upgraded farm and wood clearer, a level 2 blacksmith just to amplify that, and a level 3 Thieves' Hideout just for kicks. Alright, this level 3 boss, Act 3 boss, has this interesting situation where anytime you place pieces, not just buildings, just any piece within this red kind of squared marker, it gains additional garrison. And that pattern will change every time you place a piece. So you can actually, it's always the same. If you want, you can memorize what the pattern is. I actually don't remember it off the top of my head, but you can take it into account. So like, I know that it does take the edge at the second round, so I did take advantage of that. And then you also need to kind of explore rows to get resources, and that resources is going to go into this bribery and prevent additional mercenary camps from spawning. It's a lot. It is a lot to have to deal with. So let's see, we'll go ahead and place this over here. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me put boom, that's a lot of troops right there. See, now here, I'm going to go ahead and trigger the effect just to show you what that looks like. If you do that, you see you got additional garrison. Very annoying, right? Pop this off to the side. Okay. We only have 7 turns left to get some of this thing to work. Putting that wood clear down here wasn't really the best move overall, but it's fine. Oh, alright, we stopped it. We collected enough resources to stop that mercenary camp from spawning. Now we have 15 permits, which is much better. Where are all my other buildings? Let's put this over here. When you're dealing with this final boss, optimal placement can be pretty hard to pull off. Just given that, well... Alright. Where's my farm, man? I want my farm. Alrighty. Let's just stick you here. I did not do this, play this round to really optimize the yields for this Thieves hideout, but again, like I want to focus on some of the other, really the Duchy mechanics, so we ignored that. Let's put you off to the side. We'll do this and place it like this. Oh man, I really don't want to place it like this. I really want that farm. There it is, jeez. This. And like this. And now we can kind of see. We're done. So you see at the end of that round, based on the food that I collected, that dispensary gave me back a little bit of defense. Which is nice. And when you face this boss, there's just the main garrison. So you don't really have to worry about the order you put this in. And with that blacksmith, plus the little top off with the Thieves hideout, have more than enough troops. Boom. There you go. Not bad. Not bad at all. I will say for this playthrough, getting the blacksmith was definitely very clutch. Helped you really amp up your troops. In this case, without the blacksmith, I still would have won this battle by 1 troop. So, not to mention I had a whole bunch of defense just to take a hit if I needed to. With the way I played out this final boss, I was not perfect on avoiding recruitment, so the boss did recruit 75 troops as a result of my placement, which, you know, it might have been better for me to do something a little bit more optimal, where like I recruited less of my own troops, but also prevented the boss from recruiting troops. I'm not really sure. I wouldn't worry too much if you're playing only at hard difficulty. Just focus more on really kind of creating optimal placements for your watchtowers, getting as many plains surrounding it as possible, if not fields is better. And yeah, with that in mind, let's see, here's our resources collected. I managed to grab 14 defense based on the amount of food that I was able to collect for the round. And with that, let's just take a look at the grid. Again, you know, when you're playing as the Duchy, the general strategy is to try to get these watchtowers and this farm as close together as possible, surrounded by as much plains as possible that the farm will then convert into fields. Now, of course, easier said than done. Depending on the distribution of the terrain types, you're definitely going to have to handle some amount of forests and a third terrain type, whether that's the rivers in Act 1, the mountains in Act 2, or the wasteland in Act 3. And in that case, what you want to do is to get forests clumped up. When you can't completely play this ideally and you have watchtowers surrounded by other terrain types, you want to try to prioritize the forests, clump that up, and then if you're lucky, you might be able to squeeze in that wood clearer with that clump so that all those forest tiles change into plains instead, and that will just make things a lot better. So there is some complexity in playing the duchy optimally, or at least I guess playing it well, maybe not optimally. Don't worry about being optimal. It's focused on having fun. So there's some complexity, but I would say overall, it's relatively straightforward what you want to do every single round. You don't have to get too nuanced with your gameplay, and that's part of what I think makes playing the Duchy faction just so enjoyable. So let's take this to the end screen here. Victory! Alright, we ended the round with 69 defense left. Here are some of the stats around our exploration and battles, and clearly we were able to come up on top in terms of the amount of troops that we recruited against what the enemy was able to recruit. So it was, I think, overall a pretty good run for the Duchy. I think it showcases what you can really achieve with your watchtowers and your farm. I would say it's not the hardest hitting faction compared to maybe, say, the North, the Order, or the Public, maybe even the Tribe. Your recruitment doesn't quite skyrocket as what these other factions can achieve, but at the same time, you can see it's so much more RNG proof, because all I really needed to get my watchtowers and farm to level 3 was food and wood, and I could easily do that just with the starting cards that I had. Of course, I got some support with other cards like clearing, which helped me get some wood, but really those are just, I think, cards that just accelerated the rate in which I was able to get those upgrades. I didn't have to get those cards. I didn't rely on getting those cards to pop up during my drafts, which is the really nice thing about playing the Duchy. It's just so much more RNG proof. You also saw in this run, at least during Act 1, I played with the Thieves Hideout a little bit more just to showcase the power of that card. Thieves Hideout, at least of this current patch, which is 1.2.19, is, I think, in my mind, the strongest military building that you can field in this game and you can use it for any faction. In fact, for some factions, it is even more powerful. So I wanted to showcase a little bit of that, but if you stay, I guess, more authentic to the Duchy, that's fine too. Sticking with their sort of faction cards like the Watchtower and the Farm, it's a perfectly legitimate way to play. You can definitely get some strong runs going that can clear drop Duchy, at least on hard difficulty, maybe a few ones higher. By the time you get to Nightmare, that gets a little bit dicey. Not having a card like a Thieves Hideout or even the Blacksmith would make that run, I don't know. I'm not sure if I could win it on Nightmare without at least one of those two cards to help me out. So, but you definitely don't need to play this game on Nightmare to enjoy it. So anyways, I really hope that you enjoyed this narrated playthrough. I hope that you were able to get a sense of how the Duchy faction plays, the basic mechanics, and the way to really upgrade and maintain your deck so that your sort of power level, I guess, improves as the difficulty of the rounds increases and those garrison sizes get larger. Also showcase a few of the bosses, like the wall for Act 1, the towers for Act 2, and I can never remember the name of the Act 3 bosses, but the one with the bad squares. In any case, my name is Marvin. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe to Buddy Up Gaming, where we put together videos that encourage families to game together. We really hope that you enjoyed this showcase of Drop Duchy. Definitely encourage you to go and purchase it. It's a really cheap buy. Doesn't really cost all that much, and you can get so many fun hours of gameplay out of it for the whole family. My son loves to play this game as well. He also loves watching me play and critiquing my every move. Trust me, this is not a game that you have to play solo. It's definitely can be enjoyed together. Anyhow, that's all for this video today. Take care, have fun, and good one out there.